Hey, what's going on, guys? It's ETA Prime back here again with the ODROID C4, but this time we're running Ubuntu 20.04. I have the Wayland Bifrost drivers installed, and this is a very alpha build, so this is coming soon. But right now you could do this from the Ubuntu server image that's available on Odroid's website. It's actually pretty easy to set up, but this is all just for testing. I mean, the ODROID C4 really hasn't been on the market for more than a week and a half as of making this video, and already there's some great progress with Ubuntu 20.04 running the Gnome Desktop. It's actually pretty usable with these Wayland drivers installed. Now, along with the Wayland drivers running for the desktop itself, I've also enabled them for FireFox, so we should get some pretty good performance there. But I just wanted to show off a few things. First up, we're going to run glmark, and this is the Wayland version. I'm going to let this finish up. I'm going to fast forward it, but there's a lot of tests that it's going to run through, and then I just kind of want to give you an idea of how this is performing compared to the Raspberry Pi 4 right now. So the total GL Mark II score on the C4 is 293 on the Raspberry Pi 4. Depending on what Mesa driver you have installed and if you're overclocked or not, it gets anywhere from 154 on up to 190. So we are significantly higher here on the glmark score. Now in the future, the Pi 4 could beat this out, but I suspect this is going to raise down the road anyway. Now, like I mentioned, I also enabled WebGL with FireFox here. We're going to go ahead and launch it. So here we have FireFox loading up. I did test out Chromium, but it's rather slow right now. I'm going to open up a few tabs in the background. And I even have WebGL samples going. So we're sitting here with 500 fish. Give it a second to buffer out. We should get around 13 to 14 FPS, which isn't bad for a little board like this. We have 500 rolling. We'll go to 100. Jumps on up. And 1. We don't get much higher. There's one fish somewhere in this aquarium. I'll go back to the samples and we'll test out the grass. Go to grass right here. So this is just WebGL. We got some going, a few, one patch, 20 FPS. We'll go to mini, and it definitely drops down when we hit lots. But WebGL is working. So here's those tabs I opened up. Got the ODROID C4, Wikipedia. Everything seems to be working rather quickly. We'll go ahead and test out some YouTube video playback. I'll tell you right now that 4K and 1080p are very slow on this board as it sits, but 720p works great with no frame drops. Let me make sure this is set to 720p and then we'll take it up from there. So we'll play. Go in theater mode. And that one drop frame is just from starting it up. So 720p video on this board with those Wayland drivers is great, but if we take it up any at all, we'll go to 1080, you'll see it drop down dramatically. We just get crazy frame drops here. And it won't even start back up. So you will be viewing in 720p right now if you install this and get it all set up. But it does work great at 720p. I was also able to install the Software Center. Now you got to keep in mind that this was really made for x86 platforms, but there's lots of stuff that'll work on ARM in here, like ScumVM. I got it installing in the background. Now one thing that I did install through Terminal was GIMP. We'll go ahead and load this up, and we'll load a 4K picture that I downloaded. I'm actually really impressed with the performance of GIMP on this little board like it is. Go to File, Open. It's going to ask me to convert it, and that's fine. So yeah, if I just go through here, right click, select, let's go by color, We'll grab those, edit, cut. And it does it really fast. This is a little test that I usually run on these little single board computers. I mean, it's not much, but if you want to do light video editing on something like this, it's definitely going to work fine. I mean, almost instantaneously takes that right out for us. Go ahead and close this down. So yeah, I mean, this is actually working really well for being so early. I wasn't expecting to have performance like this, and it's definitely not top of the line, but given that this is a little $50 single board computer, and it hasn't been out for more than 2 weeks, performance is outstanding, and I can't wait to see what they do. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning, you will have to install Ubuntu Minimal, then install the Ubuntu Desktop on top of that, along with the Wayland drivers, and you'll have something similar to this. But if you wait a little while, I'm sure they'll have a full image that you can just download directly with all of this ready to go. You can flash it to your SD card or eMMC. And by the way, I am using an eMMC module with this board. You definitely want to use that to get the best performance. But that's pretty much it for this video. I really appreciate you watching. I just wanted to give you a quick update and a look at this running on the ODROID C4. If you have any questions or you want to see anything else running on the C4, let me know in the comments below. And like always, thanks for watching.